rapper. But then to hear it from your spouse.
At home.
Yeah. And I go, gosh, that would never fly. We are two, like, one for all and all for, like, we are two, one big hug.
Right?
And
that's how I deal with things.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, come on.
Let's just hug it out.
Let's hug. Yeah, exactly. And so I was kind of just like, they're like, all right, Pollyanna, what's going to go on today? I'm like, we're going to be so happy. You know, because you needed somebody.
And I think that's how elementary is, too.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, we don't want the conflicts, and we want to just figure it out, and we want to keep doing what's right for our kids in our classroom.
And do you think that is in spite of the principal? Like, regardless of whoever is a principal, you guys are going to do that?
Yeah.
Do you think that the principals that you had, that it sounds like you trusted more, brought you guys up? Like, elevated within you?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. And I think because we've all been here for such a long, I mean, the staff is kind of a seasoned staff. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't have any new, fresh out of school.
Okay.
I think because everybody's been around a long time, it helps keep that.
Sure.
The way it's all about the kids. It's all about the one big hug. It's all about, oh, yeah, that's a nightmare. Oh, we saw what she did, or we saw what she said. Oh, it sucks. But we just got to worry about it.
Whenever you do see something that you're like, how does that, like, does that make you not trust her?
Yeah, I don't trust her a whole lot.
And is it, so I see on your facets of trust.
I mean, I have to respect, that's my job. And
sure.
If my boss tells me to do something, I'll do it. And, but definitely there are certain things I would probably just handle myself instead of bring it to her because I don't trust how it would be handled.
And do you care to explain a little?
I think things with regards to I think it's, honestly, my personal opinion, I think she has a hard time. She lives in the community. Mm-hmm. She lives in the community that the school is, like, feeds into. And so I think, and I know, because I'm a parent, I have 3 kids in the district, and I'm a teacher, and that is a very difficult line to not cross. It's you see people outside of school. You see people at a baseball game. You see parents, everywhere. And so it's a difficult position to be in. And I know from experience.
Sure. And
I know I probably come across as a very distant person outside of school just because you can't. You can't.
The world's
hand in the company ink. Like it just is what it is. It's a life. That's life.
Sure.
And I think it has been this is my personal opinion. I think it's been very difficult for her to not cross that line, and it's been crossed so many times, and things have been said outside of school to parents. Oh, you shouldn't have that teacher, or you shouldn't have, like, just so many things have. And then people. It's a small community. It's a very small community.
Oh, yes, it is.
So nothing's secret here. Nothing is between you and me. Mm-hmm. And so I think when those little raindrops, those little, like, gaps get heard by staff, and there's a lot of staff that do live in the community. Mm-hmm. And so they hear things. And so when you hear it, you just go, oh, really? Okay. All right. So, and I just think it's maybe no fault of her own. She just has had a hard time.
Do you think?
And maybe she doesn't even. I don't think she even recognizes that she has a hard time with it. That she just thinks, well, I'm just friends with that person. I can say what I want to say. But it's like you can't. Mm-mm. Even if you're friends, you can't. It's like working in it's the same thing. It's politics.
Totally.
So,
do you think that it's something that can be recovered, like that breach? For the staff as a whole, I'm sure, but I think that would require, like, awareness of, and it's hard for people to be aware. How do you?
Their own.
Do you think that she is aware? I mean, obviously.
I think there's been multiple times where people have said things to her, staff has said things to her, like, oh, you can't say that, like, or you can't, like, you are the person that's in charge. You can't, like, talk like that to people. But I don't think she sees it as something that's, I don't know. I don't know if it comes from lack of experience or just, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why that's okay. I don't know what would go through somebody's mind, but she goes, it's okay to tell a parent in the school something negative about somebody else. It's horrible. So, there, lay it all out. How's that, Brent? How's that for
you? So, going back to your facets of trust, but it does like lend that you put honesty as your number one, and so
it's important that you know that the person that, and even a colleague, but even more so the person that's supposed to be like kind of the top of the umbrella, that's supposed to. So I think because of those little things, I think a big thing I would not feel comfortable her having my back on something.
Because she's...
Not that it's ever been said personally about me, but if you can say it about one, you could say it about any.
Sure.
And so...
Sure.
Yeah. So then it's hard to have that, I don't really trust you.
Do you think that she tells the truth to your staff on things? Or do you think it's...
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see. So going back to this, let's see. So we have honesty as number one, benevolence is number two. So someone who's kind, which kind of leads me to the first principle you were talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Scary.
Yeah. Scary.
Really good at what she did. And I only have 1 year, so I hear stories of the multiple years of just how, you wouldn't mess with her. But she would have your back.
So kind of comparing the two. So we have the scary situation, and then we have the distrust situation. Yeah. And how do you see the staff, like the school climate, let's say?
I would say, since, like I said, most of us have been here through this whole thing, the majority of us, 90% of the staff, has been here through all four. I think it's kind of made us who we are, and I think we are a pretty cohesive staff, regardless. It's kind of like, at least you know what you were getting with that one. Like, at least you knew where the line was. You knew not to cross it. You knew that with a parent or a situation, she would definitely have a teacher's back first before a parent.
Do you feel that's
so there
not
was
the
that
case?
Trust? I don't think that would be it depends on who the parent is.
So the line.
Yeah, there's no clear cut line right now.
Okay.
So that was like a clear cut line, and then we kind of had years of like just kind of trying to bring people together, and knowing that we should have each other's back, and maybe out of that bore trust in your leader.
Sure.
So, I mean, she wasn't just the perfect, but it was. I think it brought the staff together, which I think is huge.
Yeah.
And then when we had Jane, it was just kind of comical because it was so night and day. It was like ice. And we went from a hug to just like a freezer. Okay. Do you like us? Like, are you happy?
Okay, so during that time, that
2 year,
the little blip in the freezer, what was it like as a staff? Did you trust her? Like, even though she was...
I think so. I think we trusted her competence.
Okay.
I just think we were like, what? Hello? Are you there? Do you like us? Do you like being here? Do you want, you would be really good behind a desk, someplace.
Sure.
Because a school, you have to, there's a certain, you have 500 something kids, you gotta know.
Yeah.
And so, going from that to now what we have now, she knows everybody's name. It is kind of a warm, from the ice, we did warm up, but now there's no trust, so I don't.
So
I almost would rather have the scary and the ice princess, because I knew what I was having. Like, there was very clear, you knew what you got.
Yeah.
It wasn't very comfortable, but you knew what you had.
Do you feel that it's kind of one of those, you have to be guarded?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Is that a common sentiment?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel that impacts?
Unfortunately, I think, again, it brings your staff closer together because you have something in common.
Sure.
And you all feel the same way.